Hey guys, Joe McCall here. Do some of you ever worry about making mistakes? Right? You're getting started in this business, you're excited about real estate, but maybe what's holding you back is this fear of making mistakes. I know I was like that. I've had dealt with that many times, right? So I'm going to talk about that on this video. All right, so have you ever been to a place where you're thinking, oh, I get excited, I want to do this business, but what if I make a fool out of myself? What if I get embarrassed? What if I fall flat on my face? What if I make a bad offer? What if my offer's too high or my offer's too low and I make the seller mad? It's okay, all right? Listen, bottom line is you're going to make mistakes in this business, and that is okay, right? So just accept the fact, number one, that you're gonna make mistakes. I still make mistakes today. I remember one of the mistakes as I was thinking about this video that I made early on is I'd spent an hour on the phone talking to the seller, building some great rapport with them, all excited about this house. They wanted to downsize, they wanted to get rid of the house, and I forgot to talk about the price. I forgot to talk about the price on the phone, right? So I drove a half hour, 45 minutes to get to the house, met the seller, it was great. Needed a lot of work. I thought, oh man, this is good, right? There's a lot of equity, it's free and clear. And then started talking about price. And the seller was very reserved. They wouldn't tell me a price. And so I was the one to make the first offer. Big mistake number two. Number one, mistake was I didn't talk to the seller about the price on the phone before coming out there to see if we were even in the right ballpark. And the other mistake I made is I made the first offer. Well, we were miles apart. We went from having this great rapport, being friends, excited about buying their house, to they were so mad at me that I wasted all their time and we were miles apart. They wanted 200 grand. The most I could pay was maybe 100 grand. I should have known. Big mistake, right? Well, guess what? One of the best lessons I've ever learned in real estate, right? And here I am talking about it 12 years later. Big lesson learned. Always negotiate on the phone first to make sure you're kind of in the same ballpark before you go up to the house. The other thing I learned is I don't have to go to the seller house to get these deals under contract. So made a mistake, learned from it. So I just want to encourage you as you're watching this, give yourself permission to make mistakes, okay? This business is really, really easy. Wholesaling is easy. Wholesalers are difficult and complicated, but you can only learn by actually doing it. You're only going to learn by failing forward, by making mistakes, okay? But let me tell you something about real estate that I love. It's okay if you make mistakes because you can fix them. Let's say you make an offer. Worst case, your offer's too high. You can go back to the seller, renegotiate, or cancel the contract. It's okay. Sometimes you're never going to know what the value of a house is or what a house is worth or what the repairs are until the market tells you what the property is worth. You may offer 100, you are starting to market it for 110, and nobody is going to be even interested. You finally talk to an investor and he says, you know what, I would buy it if you had it for 75 or whatever. So then you can go back to the seller and renegotiate a lower price. Now, let me say this first. You need to make sure you're doing that renegotiating during your contingency period, right? So if you've got 30 days to close, you should have at least 2 weeks in the middle there for contingencies, for inspections and stuff like that. So you don't want to cancel the contract right before you're supposed to close. You should know this early on. Sometimes in some of my contracts, I have my contingency clause for the inspection last 3 to 4 weeks, depending on how difficult of a deal it is. So worst case, you go back to the seller, cancel the contract, and you forfeit your earnest money that you put down up front, which hopefully isn't very much, right? Best case, you make a mistake, but your offer's too low, seller takes it. Instead of making $5,000 on the deal, you're making $25,000 on the deal, right? Let me tell you a story. When I was first getting started, my first wholesaling deal, right? I was so scared of making a mistake. And this was a property way out in the sticks. If you're familiar with the St. Louis area, it's way out in Warrenton, which is probably an hour to an hour and a half drive to downtown St. Louis. It was a 3-family, and there was nobody, I couldn't find any comps of 3 or any multifamilies in that area. I didn't have any buyers. I didn't have any title companies that could do double closings or assignments like that. And I was petrified. And the lady who called me was a senior citizen. She was elderly. And I was nervous about, being accused of taking advantage of somebody that's old, right? I was so scared. And I refused to return her calls. She called me like 3 times before I finally called her back. Turns out she was responding to one of my postcards But it wasn't for the house that I had mailed her about. It was for this other house in Warrenton. And so she then said, I don't want to sell that house. I want to sell this one. I couldn't get comps on it. I looked on the MLS and I saw that it had been listed the year before for about $140,000 or something. I couldn't find any comp. 140 grand, right? I didn't know what to do. I was so scared of making a mistake, but I was like frustrated of not taking any action and doing anything, right? So I just said, I'm going to overcome my fear. I'm going to be okay with making a mistake. I'm going to make an offer. So you know what I did? I made an offer. I just like $50,000. I said to her on the phone, $50,000, would that work for you? And she said, yes. And I about fell over. I was like, oh my gosh. She said yes. So now I was real nervous. I made sure I met her at a public place. I think I met her at a YMCA. I made sure her son was with her. And I spent hours looking at the contract. I was afraid of making a mistake, afraid of like, well, what if this goes bad? I need to have the contingency to get out of the deal. So I had so many contingencies written in this contract. I'm sure they canceled each other out. And I spent all this time. I gave her this really awesome contract. She didn't even read it. She just saw the number. It was 50 grand. She signed it at the bottom. The son was like, cool, man. And then I'm freaking out. Now what do I do? Is this a bad deal or not? I don't know. Next day, put a sign in the yard. Got flooded with calls. I sold it for $65,000 in like 24 hours. Now I'm freaking out. Like, what if I make a mistake in the closing? It's not going to work. And then to make matters worse, the buyer, the guy who called me was a realtor who was representing a buyer. And now I'm freaking out like, oh no, the realtor's going to find out I don't really own the property. And so I told the realtor, hey, listen, I don't own this house. I just have it under contract. I hope that's okay. He said, yeah, don't worry about it, dude. It's fine. The investor was going to buy it with cash. And then I was freaking out. I don't have a title company. I don't have, are they going to let me wholesale this or double close, or should I do an assignment, or what should I do? I don't have any money to buy it. I don't have any transactional funding. I don't have any private money. I don't have any hard money. And so the realtor said, well, we'll just use our title company. It's not a big deal. I said, well, give me their name and number. I called the title company up. I explained it to everything to them. And I said, listen, I hope this is okay. Like, I just got to tell you something. I don't really own this house yet. I just got it under contract. And I actually have it under contract for 50, and I'm going to sell it for 65. I hope that's okay. And there again, they were saying, just relax. It's fine. It's fine. So at the end of the day, even in spite of all of the mistakes maybe I made or didn't make or could have done better, I still made $15,000 gross. After all my costs, it was about 13 grand. And I look back at that thinking, man, that was one of the most exciting days in my business career because I overcame my fears and I was okay with making mistakes. I'm just going to fail forward. And that was a successful deal, right? But I have probably even twice as many deals that I failed on, that I've missed, than deals that I have been successful with, just because of mistakes that I've made or things I did wrong. But overall, man, it's worth it, right? So don't be afraid to make mistakes. Hire a coach, get a mentor, somebody to help you, hold your hand so that you can avoid at least the biggest mistakes, right? But find somebody to help with you, to partner on deals, to coach you, and you can avoid some of the more expensive mistakes. Don't let the fear of making mistakes stop you and hold you back, all right? You're going to be looking at this video 20 years later down the road and think, man, I'm so glad I listened to Joe, that I did this, I decided to move forward, and I stopped letting the fear hold me back, all right? One more thing, if you want a good book where I talk about how to do lease option deals, the website is WLObook.com, WLObook.com. It's a book I wrote called Wholesaling Lease Options, the fastest, easiest way to make money in real estate today. You can't get this on Amazon. You can only get it at WLObook.com. Go there and check it out. It's got a lot of good stuff in here. Not a lot of big white margins. The font is normal size. It's not big. You can still read this in about 3 or 4 hours. A lot of good stuff in this book. It's free. Just pay shipping and handling. Go get it. And comment down below. I'd love to hear some of your stories. If you've ever done a deal, like one of your first deals, or that time when you overcame some fear of making a mistake, share your success. Share some of your stories in the comments down below. And give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel. Like this page. Share this video. I'd love to hear from you. Hear about some of the failures that you've made and the mistakes that you've made and how you overcame them and how it's helped you to do the deals that you're doing today, okay? Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you.